Hey everyone, Eric here from LabFix, back out again with another repair. We got a MacBook Air in here for repair. It's this one, this model, 2017 MacBook Air. Let's see what's going on with it. So I'm gonna there's another charger here. We'll go ahead and plug this in. See what we get. We get a green light. Is it powering on? Green light, no power. Alright, so we need to see what the issue is, why it's green light and having no power. So this, I feel like this is a very sticky. Sometimes what can happen is, and you see there's a little bit of like brown, I don't know if you guys can actually see it, but you can't really see it, but there's a little bit of brown here. What happens a lot of times, there's a lot of liquid that can actually go in here and it can maybe damage it, especially where the trackpad is. And so what's connected to the trackpad? The keyboard. What's on the keyboard? There's a power button there. So sometimes you can kind of think about it, if any type of liquid actually does impact the keyboard, the trackpad, or anything, that there's a power button on there. And sometimes it can be stuck in like a SMC reset mode all the time. So think about if you're trying to turn on a computer while holding down the reset button all the time. So that'll be very similar to how it is. I don't know if that's really the cause, but it's very stiff here, and that should be giving a little bit more tactile bump. So I'm thinking that could be what it is, especially looks like there's some type of evidence of that. So let's actually open up and let's take a look. Okay, let's go ahead. Oops, that's the name on it. Okay, so open it up. Take a quick look. A little bit of green there means a little bit of corrosion, so there definitely is a liquid spill, but that doesn't necessarily mean, just because there is a little bit doesn't necessarily mean that that is the major problem, because it needs to hit the main power rail, right, for it not to turn on or anything. So let's open it further. We'll look under the microscope and go from there. Alright, so have it out. I think you see our problem, huh? How about a big chunk of green next to the SMC, huh? So this is the SMC. This is what you're going to be getting your orange or green light, and it does lots of other things. It's the system management control. Just by the name you can tell how important it is, and there are definitely a lot of different components around here, like caps, resistors, lots of different things around this area, and definitely this gets impacted around the area. Definitely have a problem with this thing not turning on. So we definitely need to do a fix for this. So let's get actually into it. And actually, I did see another one on the other side here. Alright, so we see this resistor. It's pretty dirty. We're just going to start cleaning it up. Now, it's not just going to be a basic cleanup job. We see that the probe point actually is a little bit corroded as well. And you can see even the path. You can see that it's still very, very dark. If you can compare it to the one next to it, you can actually see how it's supposed to be. So we need to dig a little bit for some gold here, so we can actually make a little bit of a jumper here. And it's going to be to connect it to the other component that's actually right next to it, right? And that's where the probe point is connecting to the other one as well. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to make sure the path is actually going to be fine. That's really dirty, especially when you have a lot of corrosion. It can block that. We don't want it to be giving any type of problem whatsoever. So again, we're going to just be digging here. We're going to use some flux. We're going to actually put the flux down, and we're going to be creating our jumper, which is going to help bypass the nasty connection and make a nice new one. Because it's pretty much the same idea throughout the board anyway. That's what the board's doing, is helping connect points to other points. And you need to have a correct path for electricity. So we're going to be doing that. This looks to be pretty good. Going to have a nice little connection with a nice little jumper here. Oh man, look how nasty this is over here. Now, this is a bit dangerous too, because how close it is to SMC and how important the SMC is to the whole entire device there. So because the corrosion is really bad, we don't want to be using a brush here. We want to be using this, however you want to call it. You want to call it ear cleaner, ear tip cleaner, Q-tip, however you want to call it. It's what we want to be using because it's very soft. And if we use a brush here, you can see this area, it's very, very damaged, and it could be knocking off components if we're doing that there. So we don't want to be doing that. We're going to be using some flux also as well, and you see we're going to be touching up this area with a hot iron, which is going to help reconnect the caps and resistors, and the resistors that are doing pretty well as it is. We're going to be reattaching some nice solder there, but man, look at that scar that's on the board. You can see that. Man, that's not going to be a pretty one. So we need to replace a lot of these resistors here, and then we need to create jumpers pretty much for all of this, because this has been severely impacted here. So we're going to be doing that. It's a lot of work too, especially the solder. We need to make sure this is actually going to hold up very well. But this jumper needs to jump a lot of different areas, and that's why this is a perfect example of what you call a jumper, and that is what we're going to be using it for, because it's going to jump over a lot of this bad area, a lot of the scarred area here, because that part is too damaged for it. We can help it a little bit though for a connection on some parts there. We can add a little bit of solder, make sure it's going to be fine, make sure it's touching up fine. But man, is that so damaged. It looks honestly like a real scar, and that's exactly what happens when you have that much liquid damage, especially if you're using it while it's liquid impacted there. It's going to be doing that, or if you're not aware of it. And you're going to be lucky if it's ever turning on, or be lucky if there's too much damage. This is a part where it's pretty close to, if the SMC gets hit something like this, and maybe at a part where that it could be a little bit too much damage, but we're able to do at least create the jumpers here. But this area needs a lot of work. We're going to be cleaning up a little bit more just to see exactly what we have left, what we have to work with, and we want to make sure that we're going to be touching up completely right. But you see some of the jumpers actually are holding up very well because the solder is attaching very well too. So we're going to be using obviously a lot more flux. We're still going to be using the hot iron. We're going to be reconnecting some of these parts here, especially these bottom capacitors that are a bit damaged. We're going to go ahead and make sure they're going to be fine too. So we're going to be using a lot more flux, and we're going to be using the hot iron that's involved as well. So it looks to be pretty good. Let's go ahead and actually test it out, because I'm actually pretty curious what's going to happen here, because it's a lot of damage, right? We always want to test to make sure it's going to be totally fine and it's going to turn on. So we're going to be finishing up a little bit here. It's a little bit more of a boring job. There's some other areas too that's not as fun, but this is the main two areas that we wanted to show you guys because it's very, very interesting. So let's go ahead and see if the jumper worked. All right. Let's go ahead and test it. See if it works. It's a lot of work goes involved with these. This one was a fun one. You guys can see. Alright, we got fan spin. Should probably get an image. Let me hold option so I can go to the boot menu so it'll show the data. Alright, got the chime. Alright, power's on. Got boot. Looks good. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video on a 2017 MacBook Air. You can see there's a lot of damage that was close to the SMC. We were able to do a repair for it. If you guys like this video, we have lots of videos on the channel doing liquid spill repairs, component level repairs, data recoveries, USB, PCB board fixes, and lots of other cool things. We have lots of cool software talks too. Probably have something that you could relate to on this channel. Go ahead and check it out. We have lots of cool stuff on here. Cool repair shop, just doing cool things. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you did, please do like. Really does help us a lot. Subscribe for more content. See you guys next video. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care, guys. Bye.